Prime Minister Netanyahu, Antonio Pita, El País newspaper. First time I came here as a correspondent, it was 2007. I was here for 7 years, then I came back right before the elections. I find it hard to recall a speech in which you mentioned Philadelphia corridor, at least gave it a lot of importance. Why suddenly in the last few weeks it seems that the future of Israel depends on that? Thanks.
Now, I hope that it's your own recollection and not something that you heard on the news or in our, in some of our reporting. Netanyahu has not mentioned the Philadelphia corridor. All right. So here's what I said. Okay, when I resigned from Sharon's government because I couldn't agree with the policy, and so I resigned. I was finance minister, and I said to him in the resignation letter, I said, at least, you should stay in the Philadelphia corridor, because otherwise this is going to become Hamastan, which it did. Okay, and I talked about it before that too. Okay, and then now you talk about this war, right? We had a lot of discussions in security meetings about the Philadelphia corridor, about the smuggling, and we had an option. What do we do? What do we do about it? Because the only way to deal with it really was to conquer Gaza. But we knew we didn't have neither the domestic legitimacy nor the international legitimacy to do it. Look how much problem we have now after this worst savagery that was delivered to the Jewish people since the Holocaust, and we still have. Look at all the questions you're asking me. Look at all the international pressure that is put on Israel. So certainly we didn't have that legitimacy before the October 7th massacre. And so what we did was basically attack Hamas every time, attack it again and again and again. I, as Prime Minister, led 4 of these operations in which we killed 6,000 of their terrorists. We killed their military chief, Jabri was called, and others. But we didn't go in. The only way we could deal with the Philadelphia corridor was to conquer Gaza. And the only way we could conquer Gaza was to have the legitimacy that we lacked until October 7th happened. Once it happened, we went into Gaza, and guess what? The first time I talked about the Philadelphia corridor, I called it the southern Sugar Drumi, the southern barrier. I said, we need a southern barrier, okay? And we discussed 2 possibilities, one the Philadelphia corridor and one, 1 or 2 kilometers north of that's not important, okay? But it was clear you have to stop. Can you show that map again of the perforation? Yeah, no, not that one. Not that one either. We have to stop this. If we don't stop this, we've achieved nothing. So I spoke about it publicly. First time in November. When the war began, October, right? But that's my first public statement. Now, you should check this out. My research team, just by punching out, found 8 references every month about the southern corridor. I can tell you that in our internal discussions in the War Cabinet and in the General Cabinet, I talked about it a lot. So here again is a misrepresentation of fact. Oh, we're using this as a pretext. This is just a political ploy. It's not a political ploy. You have to be blind not to see this. I'm not blind, nor are the people of Israel. They overwhelmingly support keeping this corridor in our hands because they understand that this is something that we must do both to achieve our goal of winning the war, but also to put the pressure to release our hostages, and we'll do so. But I can tell you, it's not the first time that I talked about it.
So again, in that sort of clip, he showed all the weapons going into the Gaza Strip, flowing in from Egypt to the Gaza Strip. And that is exactly why they need the Philadelphia corridor, because they need to stop the weapons and stop the different, things going into the Gaza Strip, and even the terrorists going between the Gaza Strip and Egypt. And essentially, if you stop that, it cuts off Hamas from the, broader Arab world. So that's, 100% necessary for Israel to be very, very adamant on staying in the Philadelphia corridor. Despite the hostages, you need to stay in that corridor to avoid Hamas escaping somehow.